Hey guys, it's Ray with Think Big Websites and another interview here for you. Today I have Eric Chafin on. I know Eric from we travel in kind of the same circles and happy to have him on today because he's going to talk about something that really I just don't even pay attention to and I really should be. And every time I hear Eric speak, he brings like light bulbs start going off for me that I need to start doing this. And I figured if I'm going to learn it, why not just share what I'm learning right now with the people that come visit my YouTube channel and my social. So, Eric, why don't you just take a minute and introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what you're here to talk about today?
Thanks, Ray. Appreciate you. It's always good seeing you, man, virtually and in person. So Eric Chapin with Trifecta, where we help C-level individuals, business owners, and companies with their LinkedIn, optimizing their profiles, really to help them get in front of more of their clients and referral sources.
Awesome. Now, we're kind of in the same kind of space. You know, I do search engine optimization, I do website design. We do that for a lot of clients in South Florida. One thing that I've always shied away from was the LinkedIn profile page and getting that set up. And I really don't have a good explanation as to why I really never gravitated towards it. But I know it's very important. I know that it's a business to business kind of communication device that really should be more, I should pay more attention to. And I have a LinkedIn account and, I'm kind of embarrassed by it because it just sits out there and it's like a ghost town. I occasionally maybe post something. But what I want to try to get out of this quick interview with you today are just some nuggets, like some really tangible things that somebody who's watching this video that might be interested in how can they promote themselves better online? What can LinkedIn bring to help maybe with their search engine optimization in the LinkedIn ecosystem? And I know that you got some really good nuggets on that. And then also just anything else that you think that businesses should know about, maybe share your information, how they can contact you and work with you if they see this video and they're like, you know what, I resonate with Eric. I'm in the area and I want to connect with him. So just make sure that you occasionally throw that in here as well, so we can make sure that people can contact you. Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely right. Thank
Uh,
you.
all right. So the first question. I know SEO as search engine optimization. I work on that every single day. I tweak, I test, I try, I test again, I track and rinse and repeat. And SEO for me, when I hear it, it means everything from how do I name an image to how do I structure a blog post to what keywords I put in an article to a lot of other things that go into it. And this is not a conversation about SEO, but it's about LinkedIn. So with LinkedIn, what can they be doing to kind of help their own SEO in the LinkedIn ecosystem? Can you share with us?
It's a great question, right? And to your point, that word optimization, right? So it's just like what you're doing for your clients on websites. It's not that much different from your LinkedIn profile. When you're optimizing a lot of things. So like with anything in business, when I go into seeing a profile or you see somebody's client website, we're looking for gaps, from a best practice perspective and also algorithm side. So the optimization piece and that SEO piece really holds true for the LinkedIn profiles as well, those keywords, because really what you're trying to do amongst a lot of the different things we're closing gaps on is that search engine optimization of those keywords. You want people, depending on the industry you're a part of, you really are being very specific in terms of putting those details within that profile to get the right people to your profile. Um, very similar in that nature. And that can be with headlines, that can be with your about, that can be with your experience. There's a lot of key things that you need to make sure that you're doing right from an optimization perspective to get everything out of your profile. And that could be if you're, business to business, if you're looking for your next, your next, endeavor, whatever it may be. It's one of those things you really got to take a look at and strategically put the right words in there.
So in the LinkedIn environment, the profile and getting that completed and using keywords within the profile is a very critical way to improve the results that you may find on LinkedIn. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Absolutely. And it goes down to really defining, one, those questions I know you do really well, Ray, and asking your clients, what does your perfect client look like? What does that look like? What are the most of those people, creating that persona.
Right.
And when you get down and really drill down at that nitty gritty, it's really where you get more of your better results.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Finding that avatar and really knowing how to go after it. Now, one thing that you said to me prior to us starting this meeting was an acronym that I really wasn't, honestly, I'll be honest with you, too familiar with. And I asked you, wait, hold on, don't just explain it to me now. Give it an opportunity and explain it to everybody at the same time. And it was SSI, right? Is that what it was called? Can you share
correct.
with us what SSI does and how do you use it in the LinkedIn kind of world?
Yeah, so I highly recommend anybody that's on the LinkedIn platform to you can Google it, or even I'm not sure if you can share it in this video, the link to it, right? Because it's really really helpful. It's like anything, you really want to understand a baseline where you're at in terms of what your profile looks like. So SSI stands for Social Selling Index, and that gives you areas of so four quadrants, so to speak, in terms of where you should be from best practices, and gives you an idea of a snapshot where you're at right now and can help you literally gain in those areas.
And you use that for, is that a LinkedIn kind of specific tool that this link will go
So
to, or is it just on the internet somewhere?
So the SSI is a package part of LinkedIn, and it's
Okay.
part of the Sales Navigator. So as soon as you basically put that in and it links it to you, and basically there's a little button that'll link you to it. And it's a landing page that basically takes your profile. You may have to log in if you're not
Okay.
already logged in, and then it'll basically go through an analytics to see where your profile is, and even gives you a little bit of idea of where you stand in your industry too. So gives you a lot of good areas to know where you're at and what to work on.
That's great. I did not even know that. I'm glad that you shared that. And I will put the link somewhere in the comment section as long as it's not protected by a login screen within LinkedIn. But I'll research that. And if I can put it, it's going to be in the comment section below. Now, one thing that I wanted you to share, if possible, like what is like the number one takeaway you think people are not doing on LinkedIn that they should be doing? I know we talked about the profile and how important that is, and now you just talked about SSI and how they can use it. But like, what's the one big thing that I should be doing? People that are watching this should be doing. Everybody should be doing on LinkedIn. Can you share us a great nugget?
Yeah, 100%. We can go through the content piece, we can go through the headshot piece, but the one thing that I get a ton of feedback on that has been super positive, any of my workshops and any of my clients, it's a recommendation portion of it, which
Mm,
people just really don't look at too much. They use it, they think it's, okay, I know I need to do that. But from an algorithm perspective, you need to have anywhere from 15 plus to have some good traction. It's what basically the algorithm likes to see on LinkedIn to get things moving. Gives you a little bit more visibility. But what's not just that piece, but the actual exercise going through that, Ray, and then thinking and going through and say, okay, you know what? I want to make a list of, past clients, current clients, influencers, people that you do business with, to actually go out and either make a recommendation or ask for a recommendation. I've had so many people, so many clients come back to me and tell me, Eric, you know what? I did this, and I basically was able to reconnect with people and do more business because it re-injects yourself into that conversation, saying, hey Ray, I haven't talked to you in a while. I actually need this refresh, or I need. So it just starts that conversation, and I've had so many individuals come back to me and said, Eric, this one exercise actually created revenue for me.
I'm
So I always like to put that out there.
Yeah, no, I like that you just ended with that because my question was going to be, do you provide that service? Like, is that part of your package where you help them with finding those recommendations, or is that something that I should just do on my own, randomly hit recommendations?
Yeah, it's a great question, get right. So yeah, I definitely help with my clients in terms of like, okay, let's go through that and we'll create a list of those key individuals and categorize them, is it clients, is it referral sources, is it folks that are in your networking groups, whatever those may be.
Okay.
And we make a very intentional list and then we go out and we help, do those recommendations either for them or coach them through that process.
And if somebody was going to just try to hear this and do it themselves, is there harm in doing like 1,000 recommendations? Just like,
Oh,
okay,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. You want to definitely space it out a little bit because it's like anything, like I'm sure you're very familiar with
yeah,
Google reviews. You don't want to do it all at once. You want to kind of like
right,
space it out a little bit so it doesn't look like you're a bot or an intention, that
right,
everything lands in the same day. So I highly recommend if you have no recommendations, you want to get up to that 15, I'd say do 3 a week, space them out,
okay,
because what'll end up happening is they'll end up hitting at some point, but you want to space them out. But I also highly recommend too. So if you know somebody very well, so like you and I, Ray, we can have a recommendation back and forth. You're going to have a conversation, or I'm going to text you and say, "Hey, Ray, I just sent this thing to you through LinkedIn. Would you mind taking a look? Would you mind recommended me
okay.
for that?" So
Awesome. You touched on the headshot part, and I think you and I use the same guy for our headshots that we highly recommend, Robert Gordon. Shout out to Robert. Headshots are very important with LinkedIn.
yeah, and Ray, you don't, nobody knows it better than you. What is it, 2.5 seconds? I think
Yeah,
people see a
yeah,
site and they're like, okay, I'm either in or out.
right,
It's the same thing with a headshot, right? So if they are coming to your LinkedIn profile and they don't see anything or they see something horrendous, guess
right,
what? They're going to move on. So yeah, super important. And Rob Gordon, he's been great in
yeah.
helping a lot of the clients, you and I both on a lot of different fronts.
I'll try to get Robert on a show because I think people will benefit from learning about how to best do a headshot. Before I forget, I don't think you even mentioned how do people contact you. Can you just take a moment and share some of the ways that they can contact you?
Yeah, the easiest way is to find me on LinkedIn, right? So you can DM me, you can connect with me there. It's the easiest way to do that. Also, to just shoot me a quick note on my email, ericcchafin@gmail.com. You can find me there, and searchability is key, right, Ray? So
Right, absolutely.
I'm out there. You can find me, but those are probably the two easiest ways to connect with me to see how I can maybe help.
I'm going to put a lower third, but just for those that might be listening, can you just spell out your name so they can find it properly on
Sure.
LinkedIn?
Absolutely. It's Erik and then last name Chafin, Chafin.
Okay, cool. Well, we don't need to belabor the point too much. I mean, you hit really some critical things that people should be doing on LinkedIn. Is there any other topics or anything else that you think that we may have missed or you want to ask or
Oh,
share?
there's a ton of things I'm sure we can run through, Ray, but
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, if I can help anybody, or even if you want to have a session two, we can go about talking about outbound versus inbound LinkedIn. So that's another two items that are very interesting. The inbound being content, and then the outbound being very intentional and going out there and finding those clients and those referral sources. So.
Awesome.
We may be here for
Yeah.
about half a day if you really
Yeah.
want to dig deep on those two.
No, I'm all good. But I do appreciate, like I said, we travel in the same circle. Your expertise is in the LinkedIn space, and I think of it as like a specialty, obviously. If you're gonna go to a doctor, you want to go to a doctor that is for your exact illness. And for in your case, it's you're the LinkedIn guy, and I'm happy to be alongside you for this. And I know that any of my clients that need a LinkedIn supercharge boost, and I'm going to be referring them to you. And if anything I could do to help any of your clients out with websites or with, organic or even paid SEO services, I'm available as well. So
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you having me on.
sounds good. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you and all the best with LinkedIn. If anybody needs LinkedIn help, please check out Eric and take him up on his services. So thanks again, Eric. Have a great day.
Thank you.